Okay, hello. Hi everybody. It is 7:28 p.m. Central Time on Thursday, December 22nd, 2016. And you can hear the crackle of the fireplace. Hope you're staying warm by your screen. If you need to, I wouldn't recommend doing this for too long, but you could just put your face right against the screen and it might feel a little warm if you're cold. Other than that, hope you're doing good. We are here on the Earthquake 3D live stream, and I'll get some music back playing in a second, but just really quickly wanted to address what's going on here over the past couple hours. First of all, throughout the day today, well, it looked like things were starting to get a little quiet. People were saying, hey, the Christmas music's calming everything down. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It's good to see finally a day where I could manage to get away from the computer for more than a few hours at the most. And now, kind of out of the blue, two new sets of deep earthquakes. One over our letter D near Fiji, and that's 4.4. And now followed by a 4.9 along the Izu Ridge north of Guam. I'll show you Guam here. It's this little itty-bitty island right to the north of our red arrow. That's Guam. So the Mariana Islands go up to the north, and then we also have the Izu Ridge and a series of maybe about 100 volcanoes that extend down through here, this ridge, and we can go show you on Google Earth, which I will at 10 p.m. tonight. We'll go look at this location up because there's a volcano nearby here called Nishinoshima, and it put off a large island it actually developed around the volcano over the course of 2 years. So now we have a deep earthquake along the Izu Ridge, and Japan remains high and dry. Last earthquake, 2.5, 3 days ago. The 5.5, the last earthquake we forecast for there, actually, was the last earthquake to hit. So now, over the last 2 days, nothing. But all this movement to the south. A shallow 6, now a deep 4.9. Last night, also, we saw the catcher's mitt position get hit up here north of the North Island of New Zealand, 5.3. And now, today, right next to Taupo volcano, supervolcano, a new round of moderately deep earthquakes. I would call these moderately deep. They're not excessively deep like the other ones we see stacked high off the globe here. But when we take a look at it, maybe we should look at this sideways. Let me turn this so you can see it from the side. And you'll almost see a stair-step pattern where each deep earthquake is halved in half between the surface and going up very deep, so stepping down like a set of stairs. And this goes back a day and a half. So first our deep earthquakes, then our moderately deep earthquake, then a more shallow earthquake, then very shallow earthquakes, and going up in magnitude from 4.4 to 5.4 basically, or 5.3. So, in between the 4.4 and 5.4, we have two earthquakes. Again, 4.5 and 4.6. So does that make sense? We have a stair-step pattern, but that's coming up. You can imagine the pressure is coming up in steps, and right in the middle of all of it is our largest movement so far. But anytime we see new deep earthquakes, we have to be on watch for at least 1 to 2 magnitudes larger. Well, in this case, we just had a new deep 4.4. Well, the deep 4.4 can lead to a shallow 5.4 to 6.4. And just like the last round of deep earthquakes, we can expect two things to happen. Pressure is going to spread out in both directions from this letter D, the deep earthquake, and go down to the south near New Zealand and go to the west over to the Solomon Islands again, which means that we're going to most likely see a shallow 5.4 to 6.4 striking over in the Solomon Islands, and most likely a 5.4 striking to the south. Lately, the pressure has been mainly transferring to the west, which is good for the people in New Zealand, and this means that the area in between our new deep 4.4 and the tip of our red arrow here, where our other two earthquakes are striking, in between that zone is the next spot to be hit. So it's not far away from the letter D that's going to be hit, but this is our silent zone, the spot that hasn't been hit yet, in between our most recent deep earthquake and the last earthquakes to strike. So that, where does that put us? Tonga? Below Tonga? For the potential up to 5.4 to the south. And then we go to the west, and we look at our earthquakes, and our halfway point is again at our triangular bend, which is the previous earthquake location, but it's gone silent. So, halfway point between the letter D and our swarm to the west, near our triangular bend, and we look for the 6.4 potential to develop there. And we'll look for 72 hours, 3 days. And since it's already happened a couple hours ago, we're already going into that 3-day time period. So it's only a few days we have to watch. Same time that's going on, we have our new deep earthquake up here on the Izu Ridge. Now Japan has already been warned for a 6.1 to 6.2, 6.0 to 6.2 to strike, most likely by tonight, going into tomorrow. We put a 72-hour watch on it. Today is pretty much the 72-hour watch. Well, look at all the areas to the south. Okay, every single other area we named has been hit, except for the silent zone, right here off the coast of Japan. Add in a new deep earthquake. New deep earthquake, 4.9, means shallow, 5.9 to 6.9. And where will it strike? It'll strike in the middle of our silent zone to the north. So silent zone to the north, middle point of Japan, where our two arrows point to. So just understand that's going on now. It's kind of double priming Japan. And now it has the potential to go up to 6.9, not just 6. So again, 4.9 can lead to a shallow 5.9 to 6.9. Now I'm not saying it's going to go all the way up to 6.9. It has a potential to. I'd more lean to a little bit less than that, but higher than our original 6 to 6.2. So between 6.2 and 6.9, and that average comes out to about 6.5, if you really want to get technical. But we need to warn them still for the 6 to strike due to now two things that are coming their way. One, a progression of earthquakes based upon the big earthquake that hit down here a day and a half, well, 3.5 days ago, which is the large 7.9, almost 4 days ago. That has led to a progression of earthquakes going to Japan, but they stopped just short of Japan. Now the deep earthquakes added in, meaning new pressure has been introduced, which means Japan will be hit. Pressure won't just stop there, though, guys. It's going to go to the west. Anytime we see deep earthquakes over near Japan, it presses to the west. Which way to the west? It's going to follow the progression lines. So it'll push all the way over here to our red lines at Philippines, go down and around Indonesia, go back up and into Asia. This will all happen in the next 2 days or less. We're going to see a dramatic re-excitement here in the Mid-East going into Asia. And if you don't know your locations, Mid-East is right here. We've got Iran, Afghanistan, okay, Pakistan, India, getting over to Myanmar, Russia, China. So we're going to see this flare back up, again based upon a new deep 4.9 here and new pressure introduced from our deep 4.4 over here. Now, New Zealand, it looks like your pressure expended. So you got your shallow 5.4 off your 4.4s, but a new round of earthquakes striking at Taupo. People are correcting me. I've got many people telling me it's one way or the other. It kind of doesn't matter. It's the volcano at the center of the North Island of New Zealand, the big one, the super volcano. Now, it's not going to erupt. Okay, we don't have to worry about an eruption. So, if you're in New Zealand, you can at least take a deep breath that we're not talking about eruptive threat. But if you take a look at what's going on right now across the island, it's pretty concerning. Take a look at it, okay? We've got our 4 mixed in, but look what's striking to the south. Right along our plate boundary, the swarm is increasing, going to Wellington with a 4.0, which the USGS isn't reporting, by the way, and down to the south, right along the fracture zone. Fracture zones keeps moving every time there's new deep earthquakes introduced. That's actually good news. So you're going to see this swarm carry on here, going on for the next several days, picking up in magnitudes. It'll go from 2 to 3, maybe from 3 even to low 4 at our swarm location. And that'll be a noteworthy increase because take a look at what's there, 2s and 3s. So if it goes up to a 4 at your swarm location at the north tip of the South Island, don't be shocked. But up to the north is where you have the potential to go larger, one magnitude larger than our deep earthquakes. I say 1 magnitude larger than our deep earthquakes because pressure is transferring to the west, where our arrows go. There has been very little pressure transferring to the south lately. It's been hitting this zone here and expending before it can travel down to the south. Now you might see this all add up to like a single 3 or a single 4 striking down here on the south tip of the island, maybe every few days or like once every couple days. But mainly the pressure is coming in here, expending here. It's the spot that fractured. It's the spot that moved 2 meters up and down, 6 feet. So just understand that's going on right now. And I think that's all I've got for you. West coast of the U.S. We'll be addressing you 10 p.m. tonight. Dun dun dun. So, hope you guys are doing good. Hope you're doing good. I'm just watching and waiting for a few things to happen in the United States, waiting for a large earthquake potential to still develop out down in South America till 10 p.m. tonight. Dun dun dun. So, hope you guys are doing good. Hope you're doing good. I'm just watching and waiting for a few things to happen in the United States, waiting for a large earthquake potential to still develop out down in South America till on there right now. Because if North Italy is going to be the spot that starts to get struck now, it means that the plate boundary in North Sea has finally started to calm down. But this may be a false positive due to the feeds that we're using that are unfortunately all of a sudden not reporting Italy earthquakes. Here's the INGV list from the Italians for today. Now let's compare to the European agency. Here we go. European last 50 earthquakes. Do you notice anything? Well, obviously, there's a lack of a stack of earthquakes in central Italy. So we go back to check the actual Italian feed. You'll see a noteworthy swarm is occurring right now in central Italy at North Sea. This follows the 4.0 movement up to the north at the Swiss border, but look down to the south. Sicily being hit. This is all due to volcanic activity. Right in this region here, there's several volcanoes, but up to the north, the swarm has picked back up. Now, it's not topped out yet. We're looking for it to top out, maybe 5.1 to 5.2. It hasn't struck yet. I'm looking for it to strike. I'm not canceling the warning. The pressure is there. Now, why are we not getting the report? I mean, look up to the north. The plate boundary is being hit by 3s. So a 3 right here. Let me highlight it. Whoop. If I can. Okay, there we go. 3.0 there, and then 3.0 to the north. This is the plate boundary. But the area to the south is swarming. I would dare say it's imminent. Should be struck. The reason it's going to be struck is because of the 5 that hit a day and a half ago, almost 2 days ago, back down in Greece. And let's show that to you. Let's wait for it. There we go. 5.4. 3 days. 2.5, 3 days ago. There it is. So 5.4 there in Greece at Turkey's border should lead to at least a 5 in central Italy. And it should only take a couple days. Well, here we are. We're on day 3. We're going into day 3, which means should be there almost soon, very soon. If it doesn't strike, we got to figure out where is the 5.4 going to go. Okay, so again, I'm going to be addressing this at 10 p.m. Don't worry. I'm not going to leave you hanging too long. I already know where I think it's what's going on here, and I will explain, but it's going to take 10 minutes of showing you on Google Earth where the plate boundaries are and what's going on there and the 3s that struck to the north. That takes a lot of time. So, word up, like I said before, I'll be back in a little while. If anything else happens between now and then, of course, I will jump back on and address it. For everybody here who's new, I do this on a nightly basis, and we issue semi-daily earthquake forecasts, which we compare to the earthquakes that strike. So there's no question whether or not the areas are going to be hit or whether or not there's accuracy. We do try to pay attention to that, and the hundreds of people that frequent this chat room do that on an almost daily or hourly basis. So cheers, cheers, and more cheers. We'll see you in a little while, guys.